Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Jay and welcome to the channel and welcome to a kind of special video. So today, the 5th of November, is actually the 2nd anniversary of Planet Zoo, my favorite game of all time. I can't believe it's been 2 years since this game came out. It feels like it was just yesterday we first started dabbling in the game and really like building our first habitats and our first zoos, and now we're like, I've made like several, well, probably not several hundred, but like maybe 200, I have no idea. A lot of videos on Planet Zoo. Maybe like 150, I think. I don't know, something like that. It's been a lot, and I've put in, nearly 1,000 hours into the game at this point. It's my favorite game of all time. It's so fun. I love it, and I love the community that's come with it. I love, just talking about animals, and I love that this has become a hobby of mine. And it's an amazing hobby to have. So I thought today we'd do something a little bit different. Oh, and by the way, just a quick note. With the anniversary, we're getting some really cool free content. So we're getting a brand new animal, which is the black and white rough lemur, completely for free in our games. That's a lemur I actually have some personal experience with. A few years ago I was in Madagascar, and around the lodge where I stayed at, there were a few black and white rough lemurs just wandering around, kind of like wild, and it was really amazing seeing them. And they were so interactive with people, probably because obviously people have been around there with food and stuff. They know if they kind of bug people enough, they'll give them their food. And I had a banana stolen from me by one of these guys, which was very cute of them. Of course, that brings up a whole conversation on how much people should interact with wild animals, etc, etc. But it did jump on me, and my mom got a really cute photo of me with a lemur on top of me. So if you go on my Twitter, you'll be able to see that. But they're a really cool animal nonetheless, and I love having them in the game. So definitely go check that out for yourselves. Go look in the game. I believe we're also getting a new building and some like a bakery or something like that, which is really cool. So yeah, it's been great. I'm just really glad that it is 2 years of this game, and hopefully many more to come with lots of new cool things to look at, new animals and all sorts down the line. But what we're going to be doing today is actually somewhat different from what we usually do. As you can tell, we're not in Planet Zoo. We are on the internet, which is of course a relatively scary place to be on, but a fun place too. And here we have a tier list, which are of course still incredibly relevant. And that was me being sarcastic, by the way. Of course, these were in fashion like, I don't know, a year ago when everyone was making tier lists, and now, I'm like a year behind the curve, or 2 years maybe. But I thought, why not, We have so many animals in Planet Zoo now, and I found this tier list, tier maker on the internet, made by, let's scroll down and see, that was made by the user Manila, so shout out to them for making this cool tier list, which features all the animals, including the brand new ones, including the lemur, which dropped today. So they either work fast or there's like an algorithm which uploads the images. Either way, very cool. And we're just going to go through the list, and in a very subjective way, very much based on my own opinions and stuff, we're gonna rank these animals. I did a ranking of the top 10 animals in Planet Zoo a while ago. But when I say a while ago, I mean basically 2 years ago when the game came out. So I thought it'd be nice to do it again in more just a retrospective way, looking at the animals in terms of how well they're designed, how fun they are to use in the game, any real world relevance they might have, in the sense of are we learning more about their conservation or their species via this game, that sort of thing. And I'll put them all together and we'll see how we get along. Of course, this is very much a subjective thing, it's all based on my opinion. Do put down in the comments below what you think, make your own tier list, I'll link it down below as well. Let me know what you think. And of course, some other YouTubers I believe have done this in the past as well, so go check out their videos. If you just type in Planet Zoo tier list, I'm sure you'll find a few. I've seen, I think, 3 or 4 people do them, so it's a fun thing to do, and I thought, yeah, why not, So without further ado, let's get started with the aardvark over here. And the aardvark's a pretty cool animal. I like the design. I think it's not super detailed. It doesn't have to be, because in real life they have a pretty straightforward appearance. Pretty cool animal, quite unique. Not one I use an awful lot, but it fits, it does what it needs to do. It's never going to be a feature animal, it's never going to stand out an awful lot unless you're really into aardvark specifically. And because of that, I'm gonna put it in B. And I think the next animal, which is the African buffalo over here, I think that's also gonna go in a B. It very much is a satellite animal almost in terms of zoo building. It's fantastically designed and it's beautiful. but you tend to only see it in like really large habitats that feature lots of other savanna animals, and I think because of that, it'll probably go into B again. Here's the African bush elephant, and of course that is like one of the most magnificent animals alive today. You know, it's iconic of zoos and stuff, but I think it's also kind of emblematic of the changes zoos are undergoing in the world right now, because in the world, zoos are good zoos, I mean, are kind of working towards phasing out some animals which might not be suited to captivity as much. And elephants are pretty much the poster boy for like this situation specifically, this debate, whether or not elephants should be kept in captivity. And especially with the African elephant, I feel like that's quite a powerful like conversation that needs to be had. And maybe that's something that could have been talked about in the game a little bit more, about the nuance of keeping an elephant. Maybe they could have made it so the elephants are just really tough to look after. But of course, they did that with the polar bear, and then there was a whole bunch of backlash and stuff. So it's a bit of a tricky situation to work around. But in terms of its design, it's really well designed, but I think it's not anywhere near as well designed as the Indian elephant. And because of all those reasons kind of put together, I think it goes to B. I feel like there could have been more to do with this specific species. Huh, why is it white? Oh, I think this is meant to be done with a white background. Let's change it to white. Apologies for any of you who are in the dark and have their retinas burned out, but you know, I just wanted to make it look kind of neat. So there we go, African elephant there. Next up we have the African wild dog, or the painted dog. These guys are really great. I love the design in the game. They really got those colors, splotches and patterns down very well. The reds, the browns, the light tan colors. Really, really well done. They have such dynamic behaviors in the game too, and lots of really useful information in the Zoopedia. Just all around really well done animal. You are going in A tier. Next up we have, I believe, the Aldabra giant tortoise. We also have the Galapagos giant tortoise, and I cannot for the life of me tell them apart in these small images here. I think the first one is Aldabra because they've got a smaller head. The thing with the two tortoises is both of them are really well designed, and Frontier's always done a fantastic job with reptiles. But I don't really see the... It's one of those kind of like Thompson's Gazelle and Springbok situations where you have two very, very similar animals. And a lot of times I think people just don't really use one or the other, they just use the one and then they kind of leave out the other one. So I'm going to put the Aldabra giant tortoise in B, but since we're also talking about the Galapagos giant tortoise, I think I'm going to put that in A. Okay, hear me out, I know this is weird. The Galapagos giant tortoise is, like, I think both of them are equally well designed, but I think the Galapagos giant tortoise is simply a bit more, I think, emblematic of conservation and like captive breeding and all those things which are really important in zoos. So I think, you know, the Zoopedia and stuff does they do a good job of explaining this. So I'd put the Galapagos giant tortoise up there at A. So we'll see how that pans out. We might end up switching them around later on. The Amazonian giant centipede, as an exhibit animal, I don't see myself using it very much. I think centipedes are pretty cool animals. Very interesting for sure. A lot of people are terrified of them. But I don't see myself using it very much. Exhibit animals are not going to make it to S tier, I don't think, because unless they're like some of the really special ones, because you just don't see them an awful lot, they don't move around very much. So I'm going to put this in C tier. The American bison is a kind of I wouldn't say similar to the buffalo. In terms of design, it's about similar to the buffalo, you know, well designed, good fur quality and all that. It's really emblematic of conservation efforts, which is quite cool because of course they were super endangered because of humans hunting them so much, and then they really bounced back with all these nature preserves and like breeding efforts and stuff. So I think it's pretty cool that they're like known for that. So because of that, I think I would put them in B, same as some of these others. But I don't know, it just doesn't stand out enough compared to some of the other animals for me to put it in A tier. Dromedary camel, the Bactrian camel is an easy A for me. Very unique animal, super well designed, and it just looks really good and fits the zoo theme very well. And it doesn't feel like a satellite animal, for example, like the buffalo does. You will have your own camel habitat, and people go to a zoo, you'd probably expect to see a camel at some point. So I think they fit there very well. Barred Tapir, also an A for me, because they are really unique, very cool looking, super adorable, especially the babies. The babies are so cute. And they did the swimming animations for these guys very well. And also just putting out there, I grew up knowing primarily about Malayan tapirs because I'm from Malaysia, and hearing about Barrett's tapirs and South American tapirs, I really didn't know much about them, so learning about them via this game I think was quite cool. I believe we have the Bengal Tiger next. This would have gone in A, but I'm going to put it in B. Primarily because it's a little bit odd looking, and this is an issue I'm going to point out again later with a couple of the other big cats. Some of the big cats look a little bit cartoonish in an odd way, like some of their features are a bit more bulbous than they should be. The Bengal Tiger isn't that bad for it, but one we'll see down the line is really bad for it, and some are really great, so I think there's some inconsistencies here which I think could be smoothened out a little bit as we go forward. The wildebeest, really, really fantastically designed. Again, kind of a satellite animal. Going to go in B tier. Not much else to say about it except I think it's very well designed, but just doesn't have enough of a prominence to go any higher. This is the Boa Constrictor. Yep, very cool. I would like to have a Boa Constrictor myself. As a habitat animal, I'm going to actually put it in B because you do see it curl around the trees and they do some pretty interesting stuff where, every time you look into it, they're always somewhere else and doing something quite cool. And of course, the detail on all of the exhibit animals are always really brilliantly done. The bongo is... okay, I like the bongo, I really do, but it also kind of has that kind of cartoonish element that some of the big cats have, so I'm going to put it in B just because of that, but otherwise it would have been A. The bonobo, is this the bonobo? Might be the chimpanzee. This is the bonobo. Bonobo is going in A tier, fantastically designed, looks incredible. Climbing animations, of course, have always been one of Planet Zoo's kind of unique features. This really wasn't as much of a thing in previous zoo games, and while it isn't always perfect, it is done generally really well. The Bonin Orangutan is also going to go in A. This was one of my favorite animals in the game in the past. I've kind of lost a little bit of my love for it because it kind of looks not quite like an orangutan in real life. So real life orangutans are a lot more shaggy. Their fur is a lot more stringy and shaggy, and this one kind of just looks fluffy and kind of like round and dense, which is a bit odd. I find that a little bit strange. I don't know, by the way, if you can see my email notifications pop up in the corner. If you can, I apologize for that. But yeah, that's why I think the Bonin Orangutan doesn't make it to the S. It would have otherwise. We have a couple spiders now. Goliath Bird Eater and something else maybe? Oh gosh, I cannot for the life of me remember what all these spiders are. And kind of because of that, I'm going to put all the spiders in D tier. I'm sorry, these are all the spiders I can see right now and just put them all in D tier. I apologize to you spiders, but for the life of me, I cannot tell you apart. Can't remember your names, and I think that probably says something about the memorability of these animals. So, apologies my arachnid friends, you're all going in D tier. The cheetah is an A tier animal for sure. Beautiful, beautiful design. Looks stunning. The behaviors are really done well, and it's a really cool animal to have in your zoos. Would always recommend adding them. One thing I would like to see for the cheetahs in the future is some variant skins, because in the wild, cheetahs can occasionally exhibit things like the king cheetah variant, where they have this black stripe of fur down their back. And a bit more detail on the babies would be quite nice as well. Pangolin, Chinese pangolin, S tier. S tier animal. No doubt about it. 100% S tier animal. Fantastic creature. So cute. One of the most important animals for conservation because they are so threatened and, they really, really need the awareness. And in the game, they're so cute, so adorable. Just perfect. The babies are so cute too. I love the variant skins that we got as well. Just a fantastic animal, so unique. The scales, the shine on them, the detail, all great work. These two snakes, I believe they're both desert adder type snakes. And apologies, like, snakes are my favorite animals, and I can't even like remember what these are, which is really bad of me. I believe one of them is an Australian adder and the other one's an American one. Please do correct me in the comments, I just cannot remember. And I'm gonna put them both in C, because I just don't use them very often, but as snakes, they do have cool exhibit animations. The ostrich is gonna go in A tier. I really like it. The feather quality is fantastic. The shape, the neck, everything looks really good. The babies especially are done phenomenally. And ostriches, of course, you do see them in zoos quite often, and they do well in captivity. And, you know, the Frontier did a great job with the birds in this game, however few they may be. And they just look really good, so I'm very pleased to put the ostrich in A. The warthog is... Ooh, this is a tricky one for me because the babies are some of the cutest in the game, but the adults don't necessarily look as much like wild warthogs as I would like, because if you go to a zoo and you see warthogs, they're a lot more like chubby. That might be because of feeding, but they get quite chubby and quite like they, I don't know, they're really interesting in that sense, I suppose. But then this probably is just representative of a healthy adult as opposed to an overweight adult. I'm going to put it in B for now. We might change that up later. Formosan black bear, A. Love it. So cute. So fluffy. Love the white patch on its chest. Also known as moon bear, of course. It could do with a little bit of a trim, but otherwise, fantastic animal. It's probably the only bear that's going to get an A tier, sorry, an S tier. But I think it deserves it. It's always been my favorite of all the bears, and that's why it's going in S. This is the Gemsbok, and I'm gonna put it in A. Hear me out. I know I put some of the others like the buffalo and the wildebeest in B, but this one doesn't feel as much like a satellite animal, and because of those really striking facial patterns and horns, I think it stands out a bit more. That's why it's going A tier. Gharial, easy S tier, was my favorite animal of all. Like, the first time I made this list, the Gharial was my top animal in the game. Right now it's kind of in that top tier. I don't know if it's still my 100% number one animal, but it is so good. It is a fantastic design. Of course, critically endangered in the wild, so really good to bring awareness to it too. The babies look great, the adult skins look great, yeah, like I said, Frontier does their reptiles phenomenally well, and that especially I think is really emblematic of that, the Gharial, because all the scales, everything looks perfect. The what roach is this? It's a Madagascan roach, I believe. No, sorry, it's the hissing cockroach? I think it is the hissing cockroach. D. I just never see myself using it. Unless I'm building like a themed area or stuff, but I'll never like watch it, you know. Some of the exhibit animals I really can watch for a good while, but not the hissing cockroach. The two scorpions are quite interesting. I will put them both up here. They're both quite fun to have in the game. I like how they look, and they both do have cool like little animations, which is nice. The panda is going to go in... I want to put it in D tier because I have a grudge against pandas, but I'm going to put it in B. And let me explain before you pick up your pitchforks. Pandas are just... they're a little bit of a drain on conservation resources, in the sense that because they're so like... they are the ultimate poster boy for conservation, you know? And zoos and stuff occasionally get them in, and they do breeding programs and stuff. Obviously, China loans them out on a weird like... political base. It's a whole weird thing, and I could rant about it for hours, but yeah, it tends to take away resources from other animals to fund specifically pandas. And you know, pandas are great animals on their own, but in zoos they can be, yeah, like I said, just a bit of drain on resources, and they're a bit odd like that. Also, as an animal, they're just biologically so weird. Like they you know, they have a gut that can digest meat like other bears, so they should be eating meat, like they have all the tools to be a predator, but instead they eat bamboo all day, which is nutritionally so poor. So you know, they're an interesting animal. I probably shouldn't have a grudge against pandas, but I kind of do a little bit. The giant African land snail is next, an animal which I never knew was invasive to my home country of Malaysia. I used to find snails all over the place. Turns out they were never native, so very interesting there. They're quite a cool animal. They're quite a common pet as well. I'm going to put them in C tier next to the scorpions. Gila Monster is going to be the first exhibit animal that gets an A tier because it is so well designed and so beautiful. And just such an interesting lizard. Of course, one of the few venomous lizards in the world. So that's going in A tier. I believe this golden poison dart frog. Excuse me for a moment. I'm just going to take a sip of water. Yeah, the golden poison dart frog, I think, could probably go in the B tier. They're pretty solid. It's a solid frog to put in, you know, you put in like loads of them and then as you go past you can see them kind of jumping around. It's quite cool. Goliath Beetle, very interesting exhibit animal, more so than some of these other ones, so I'm going to put it up here. The Goliath frog is 100, actually I'm going to put the Goliath frog at A because he's so chonky. I love him. Also, kind of like an interesting choice because there are a few really large frogs they could have chosen. They could have chosen the pixie frog, which is the, I believe the second or third largest type of frog that you would have found in Africa as well. But we did of course end up getting the Goliath frog, which is the largest, and there's not many photos of them out there, out in the wild, but they are really, really big and very unique, very interesting choice, and I think they did a good job with the design. So I'm putting it in A, and I just can't resist a good chunky frog, which is a weakness of mine. Flamingo is going to go in B tier, I think. Yeah, they're great. I really like them. They are not super interesting otherwise. I like their behaviors. You know what, scratch that. I'm going to put them in A tier, really. Because they are unique. You know, we don't have any other swimming birds as far as... Well, we have the penguins, but you know, we don't have anything like this. We don't have a wading bird. We don't have something quite like this specific animal. So it's quite unique. The design is really great. It would be nice to get some other other species of flamingos down the line. They're also a great ambient animal for zoos, like just to have them in a lake in the zoo somewhere, because a lot of zoos just do that. So yeah, A tier for that. It's kind of in between A and B, but I'm going to put you in A. The green iguana is going to go in B tier. They're cool. I like green iguanas a lot. The game makes them a little bit... the design is interesting. They don't... See, I don't think I can actually fault Planet Zoo for this. Green iguanas in real life vary in appearance so much. Some of them look so yellow and so red, and others can be really bright green. Some can be really lean and like narrow looking, and some are chunkier, and so they do vary a lot. The design in the game, I think, is a little bit like a bit on the cartoony side, not as much as some of the other animals, but not as close to a green iguana as I would like. But again, I don't think this is Frontier. This is not really something I think Frontier can address as well, because green iguanas vary so much out in the wild. Oh, here we go. Two of the bears. One of these is the Himalayan brown bear, one is the grizzly bear. I do not know which. Both are gonna go in B tier because of this specific thing. The grizzly bear itself is fine. It's very much a fine animal. I don't really have much else to say. The Himalayan brown bear irritates me a little bit. I like the fact that we're getting another brown bear species, but the game makes them look so similar that there's really no point in having both. So that's kind of my argument there, and I'm just going to put them both in B because that annoys me. The hippo is going to go in A tier. Really great design, fantastic. A bit cartoonish, but I don't mind with the hippo because they kind of look a little bit cartoonish in real life too. And the babies and stuff, all very cute. Really well done. A tier for sure. Indian elephant is going in S tier. The design is so realistic with all these freckles and everything. It's just so well done that it's going straight to S tier. Again, there's that whole argument about elephants and zoos, but Indian elephants definitely get a bit more slack compared to African elephants. They're a bit more chill when it comes to keeping them in captivity and stuff. Again, still a debate, still very much ongoing, whether or not they should be. I'm kind of leaning towards they probably should phase elephants out of zoos, but I think In fact, recently in the UK, there was like there've been a lot of discussions within the Association of Zoos and Aquariums about this. So definitely go check those debates out. They're very interesting to see both sides of it and kind of discuss like what's best for their conservation. But yeah, Indian elephant, just fantastic all around, S tier. In fact, these four right now here have all been from the base game and were all in my initial top 10 list. Let's take another sip of water there. The peafowl, I'm gonna just put it in A tier with the flamingo, because all my arguments for the flamingo will apply to the peafowl. Very much like a unique animal, a good ambient animal for the zoo. That goes there. The Indian rhinoceros is going to go in A tier. I don't know if this was one of my top animals. It's a really well done animal and I really like it. But I don't know, it just doesn't... It builds a very similar niche to the hippo. I like how both of them look. I like the chunkiness they have. Not quite an S tier though. The Japanese macaque, I believe, used to be in S tier for me, but I'm gonna actually put it down in A tier. I don't know why. It's kind of lost a little bit of points with me. I don't know what it is specifically. I think it might just be, I would like the fur to feel a bit more fur-like. It looks quite like solid at the moment, and maybe like less saturated skin or something. I don't know. They're an interesting animal nonetheless, and I think the game did a great job with them. The climbing looks great. Maybe just some tweaks on the model of skin, but otherwise, fantastic animal. Another poison dart frog? I cannot remember. Was it a lemon poison dart frog? It might be. B tier, same as the other poison dart frog, really. This is a cool one, the Antillean Iguana. I'm gonna put this actually in A tier because it's just such a unique species and it really brought to my attention these animals, which I never heard of before. And again, it has kind of the similar model issues with the green iguana in the sense they're a little bit chunkier than it probably should be, a bit more cartoony, but this one gains points for being a unique species I've not really heard of. The mandrill gets an A tier, super unique, really well done, and just a very, very cool animal with a really great design. And, you know, along with the climbing animations and stuff, it's just a great addition to any zoo. Mexican red-knee tarantula, it's more distinguishable than the other spiders, I'll give it that, so it's going in C tier. The Nile Monitor is going in B tier. I wish it looked a little bit more like Nile Monitors in real life. It got a bit too boxy of a head. Nile Monitors have quite slender heads, same with a lot of other monitor species. And they're really, really cool. The one in the game is also a bit boxy all around when they should be a lot more like skinny and slender. But I think otherwise the skins are great and it's really cool to have a smaller lizard like that in the game as well. Well, it's a big lizard, but you know, smaller compared to the other ones in the game. Now we have the bongo, which this is the Nyala, and the Nyala is going in A tier. It looks really beautiful. Compare it to the bongo here, you can really see the differences in like how the skins are done and how much more realistic the Nyala can look compared to the bongo. So I'm going to put that up here in A tier, and I think it looks great. Okapi is also going in A tier. Beautiful animal, very unique. They really did them justice in the game. Like, there's okapis at London Zoo, which I see all the time whenever I go there, and I go there far too often. But it really works out for them. They look really good, and I think they look very much, you know, close to their real life counterpart. And of course, they are such a unique animal too, being the only other like members of that family that include giraffes, like, and being known as a forest giraffe, which a lot of people, you know, would find quite interesting. I think is really good. The zebra is actually going to go in B tier. Primarily because even though it's unique, it again just fills that satellite animal niche. And even in real zoos it does that. Like in London Zoo there's the giraffe habitat, and the zebra is just next to it, like kind of off to the side without really much attention to it or anything. It's just kind of an ambient satellite, well, not an ambient animal, but like a satellite one next to a feature animal habitat. Pronghorns are going in A because how unique they are. You know how they're not antelopes, they're North American. and not many people know much about them, so it's nice to have them in the game. This is another adder species, which is going to go in C tier. I think it's an adder, it could be something else. I've been saying adder for all three of these and I'm not sure. They're all kind of, I think this is the eastern brown snake in the middle. I'm not sure what these two are, as in between each other, so I'm going to put them down here in C. But again, as snakes, they have pretty good animations. Red panda is an S tier animal, super cute, just so adorable, so fluffy, and beautiful animal. Really great addition because they're very dynamic in the game. They climb a lot, they move very much like their counterparts in real life. The Red Rough Lemur is going in A tier. The lemurs are really well done, both species. So I'm just gonna find the other one actually. Here's the, you know what, I'm putting in all three lemurs. Where's the new one? There you are. Yeah, all three lemurs are gonna go in A tier because they are all really, really well done. They're all very unique from each other. I've actually had a look at the black and white rough one just now, very briefly on the Twitter page, and it looks great as well, as you can see in this photo. And because I retweeted that with the photo of me with the lemur, I could very directly compare them to the real life counterparts, and they look really good. Yeah, all the lemurs are great. They're fantastic for walkthrough habitats. Climbing animations are really fun to work with. So yeah, all three lemurs get an A category for this tier list. The giraffe is going to go in F tier. I have my reasons for this. I think it's just very iconic. It's done really well. I love the skins. It feels very textured, very well made, and they're just such a great staple animal for zoos that don't have that many conservation concerns. In terms of like captive breeding and stuff, they're done pretty well. So it's nice to have them in the game, and I think they look really good. This is the Sable Antelope. B tier. They're cool. They're not quite as cool as the ASRock. I apologize, Sable Antelopes. You're staying in B tier along with the wildebeest and the African water buffalo, because they all feel very much like satellite animals. Maybe Sable Antelope a bit less actually, but still. Here's the Saltwater Crocodile, and in a shocking turn of events, it's going in B tier. The Saltwater Crocodile is probably the only reptile in the game that I think needs a good bit of work. It doesn't feel like a real saltwater crocodile. It has that issue where everything feels a bit too bulbous, and it's not as well defined. Like if you look at the gharial, all the scales and everything are really well defined, carved out, all with the right shine, with the right colors. The saltwater crocodile doesn't have that as much for some reason, and I think that's a bit odd, and I'm not sure why, but I think it could do with a bit of a rework. Siberian Tiger is going into A tier. It doesn't have as much of that cartoony appearance as the Bengal Tiger. I'm not sure if it's just because it has more fur, so it kind of softens all the other features, but it looks really good. I'm going to try and speed up this whole process a bit because we still have a lot of animals to get through. The Snow Leopard is an easy A tier, great big cat. Really, they did a great job at, emphasizing what makes this unique, like the big fluffy tail, the coloration, all looks great, and the climbing as well. Spotted hyena, fantastic animal, easy A tier for me as well. The Zoopedia does a great job of explaining, how it's not a dog, it's more closely related to like other animals, and the behaviors of them, the sounds especially, are really good. They have that kind of like slight laughing sound, which is of course unique to these guys. Very cool, really glad to have them. Springbok is the first one that's going in the C tier, along with its buddy, the Thompson's Gazelle, because they're both I am so sorry, okay? I don't have anything against these two, but they're just both of them are pretty much satellite animals. They're also both incredibly similar in appearance and behavior and everything, so unfortunately they're making it down to C tier. The timber wolf, which apparently isn't actually a proper wolf species, so they might get renamed in the game in the future, is going to B tier actually. No, A tier. A tier because they got all those new variations in skin color and fur color, so they definitely upped their game a little bit. Very cool animal to have. I like their social structures that the game has given them with the offspring and stuff. That wasn't in the base game, I believe, like it was added in one of the updates at some point, but really nice to have it. A beetle of some description, which I rarely if ever use. I apologize to this beetle, but you're a D tier. And here we go. here is the one that I've been kind of dreading a little bit. The lion is going to go in D tier. I know, but the lion is just, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I love all the animals in the game, but the lion is just probably the one design I just actively dislike, because they made it look incredibly cartoony. Like, compared to all the other animals, it sticks out kind of like a sore thumb. It doesn't look as much like a real lion. And I really hope they tackle that someday, like with some slight model changes or something. I know other people in the community have mentioned this before as well. And I think it has something to do with this being the game's mascot, and therefore it needs more like attention drawn to it and stuff, so I'm not sure, maybe that's why. Chimpanzee is going into A tier, same reasons as the bonobo. Another snake, which I love snakes. Why am I not? Here's the thing, I love snakes. I'm a lot better at identifying non-venomous snakes than venomous snakes, which is great if I'm just looking at them on the internet, but in real life that's gonna bite me one day. Ha, pun intended. Yeah, I have no idea where to put this snake. I'm just gonna put it with the other ones here. The mountain gorilla is going to go B tier. It is not as good as the other primates, and it's a bit too like poofy and not enough, like it's not textured enough for my liking, or like it just kind of looks like, I don't know, it's still a good model, it's just not, like I said, not textured enough and not detailed enough for me to buy it as much as I do these other primates. The yellow anaconda, and while I say that I'm going to take a drink. Great snake, very much B tier, gonna put it in with the Boa Constrictor. Really cool, really unique, and looks really, really good. I think especially with the tank you get, I believe it has a little water area and you can see it in there sometimes. It's really nice. Yeah, there, I would love a green anaconda in the future. Komodo Dragon is going into A tier. Again, really well designed reptile, love it in my parks, and it's an animal that's seen in zoos surprisingly often. And yeah, I'm just glad to have it in the game, and I think it looks great. Another venomous lizard along with our Gila Monster up there. So good to have it. Pygmy Hippos, S tier. I mean, look at him, it's so cute, and Pygmy Hippo is definitely an animal more people need to know about, and not a lot of people do, so really, really great here. Also, because they're so endangered, it's really useful to have them in this zoo, in this game, so that people have an awareness of them and their plight in the wild. And they're just so unique compared to the regular hippo, because then they don't spend as much time in the water, they're more of a forest animal. There's a lot of really interesting things there. The Capuchin Monkey is going into A tier. Very cute monkey, does a lot of very cute monkey things. Not really an awful lot else to say about it, except it has a bug which has only just been fixed after like a year or so, or a year and a half, where its face would just randomly distort and kind of float in one direction, which was kind of spooky. Giant Anteater is A tier animal. Looks really good, I love it. I thought this would be an S tier. As much as I really do like it, it just doesn't stand out as much as these F tier animals for me. The Jaguar. Jaguar is going in A tier as well. Really great big cat. And yeah, just well designed, love the swimming animations. Now with deep diving as well, it looks really good. The llama is going to B tier. Nope, A tier. Oh, the A tier is really filling out. But yeah, llamas are pretty cool. The new skins as well give it, like the new fur patterns and stuff are really great. The tree frog is going in, it's not A tier enough to, but it's very similar to the other frogs. A bit unique, but still not enough to get it into A tier. This is the dingo. I'm gonna put the dingo in B tier because I never use it. I just do not have like as much of an interest in using it there, because really there's not much separating them from just domestic dogs. I know there is quite a bit, but it's just not something I would see myself using an awful lot. The blue-tongued skink, or the eastern blue-tongued lizard as they say, is going in A. The DLC the DLC exhibit animals might all be A tier, because they're really good. Koala is an A tier animal, very unique, really well done and fluffy and super cute. I would like them to be a bit more like scraggly because, you know, they're not all perfect little teddy bears. Some of them are definitely a bit more like, you know, kind of rugged and stuff in different ways. So a bit more like scraggliness and stuff would be cool, but otherwise very cool animal. I like that it has its own enrichment item. And of course it's an animal that loads of people really like. The red kangaroo is going to go in B tier. It's a really unique animal, but oh, you know what? No, it's A tier. I really liked using it. I remember the animations being very cool. No, A tier. Cassowary, S tier animal, no question about it. One of my favorite birds. My absolute favorite bird. Actually, oh no, second. Which one is my favorite? So I love shoebills and cassowaries, and one of them is gonna beat out the other eventually, but easy S tier. The southern cassowary is one of the coolest birds on the planet, and the game really did them justice. Such a unique animal, great design, great representation of Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, fantastic species, great to have it. The Dwarf Caiman is also an S tier because it is just truly one of the most beautiful reptiles in the game. The skin is fantastic. Every scale looks like individually patterned and detailed. Blew my mind when I first saw it. Even to this day, when I still stumble across its habitat in October Lake, I always can't help watching it for a bit. And of course, a lot of people think that with crocodilians you have crocodiles and alligators, so it's nice to introduce new species like this. A South American species as well. So very cool to have them. The river terrapin is going into A because it's the first kind of aquatic exhibit animal, and it was very cool to have that. The giant river otter is an S tier? No, it's an A tier. I really liked it. Animations are so smooth when they're swimming, the babies are super cute. I'm really glad they put this in because it's quite a unique species of otter too, being, you know, a large predator. Instead of like some of the smaller ones like Asian small-clawed otters, which I would still like to have, but really unique species, so I'm really glad we have that as well. The grey seal is an A tier as well, our first pinniped. They did a really great job with it in the aquatic pack, swims really well, great skins. Yeah, super cute animal. I love how they bounce along as well. Very, very cool. The king penguin is going into S tier because we've wanted penguins forever. When we finally got them, we got the king penguin, and I think they look stunning. And I really applaud them from using king penguins and not emperor penguins, because emperor penguins have really adorable babies that we've seen, of course. You know, the grey and white babies. I think they look great, of course. But the king penguin has the unique, like, have really unique babies where they are covered in this really dark brown feathers, and they're also kind of like evil looking, so they're not super cute. So it makes them a little bit more unique, and they're just great. They're really stunning animals. The fact that we can also have them in such massive colonies, it's really cool. The binturong is going in S tier. Really fantastically designed, though that wasn't always the case. So the binturong had gone through a bit of a glow up, of course, because the first binturong, when we got it revealed to us, we were like, what on earth is that? It had these weird double ears that you can actually see here, and basically everyone was so like distraught with how it looked that Frontier actually went in and changed it, and now it looks so good. It looks stunning. It's a great animal too, such a unique species. One that smells like popcorn when it scent marks, which is so interesting. An animal not many people know about from Southeast Asia. Glad to have it, glad to put it in S tier. Clouded leopard, A tier animal, same reasons as some of the other big cats here. They really delivered on the unique features of this animal, the really, quite possibly my favorite skin pattern on any big cat in real life. Like, those clouded markings are just truly beautiful. So A tier for that. The Malayan leaf insect is going to go in A tier. Really quite a unique insect, very beautiful, and I like the fact that we have to go hunting for it if we look at an exhibit, because it's a leaf insect. Also one of the best, most detailed exhibit animals, as a lot of people pointed out. Malayan tapir, C tier, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Malayan tapir. I feel really bad doing that. Malayan tapirs are native to my home country. I've actually seen a lot in real life, and that's actually why I had to put in C tier. The version in the game, sadly, just really does not look like the real thing. It does look a lot more like the Barrett's tapir when it should look a lot more unique. They're big animals, they've got really unique features, and you know, they've got like bulkier heads, they've got these slightly different trunks and the ears, and I think it's one of those animals that could really benefit from a remodel. So unfortunately it gets C tier. Babirusa, one of my favorite of these types of animals, and when I say that I mean like hog-like or pig-like animals. Very, very unique, easily going in A tier for me. In fact, it's very close to S tier. Not quite. Oh my god, am I going to put it in S tier? I'm going to put the Babirusa in S tier. You know what? Why not? It's fantastic. I loved using it. It's so cool. So unique. Why not? It's going in S tier. Babirusa, you made it. And you know, with those really cool tusks and everything. And I love seeing them in zoos in real life. And they do look very much like the ones in real life. Though the ones in real life are more consistently muddy. Like they're always covered in mud. Proboscis monkey is another S tier animal. One of the coolest primates in the world. One I've seen a lot of back in my home country. Back when I was growing up. We used to visit East Malaysia, which is part of Borneo. We used to go around the rivers there, and you'd see them in the trees, and there were like nature preserves where there were hundreds of them. Such a unique species with, you know, those big noses and the pot bellies where they ferment their food. It's they're a cool species, and I'm so glad we have them in the game. They really did a good job differentiating the males, females, and babies as well, with the different nose shapes and stuff. Great job. The sun bear is, oh god, most of the Southeast Asian pack animals are going in S tier, aren't they? Sun bear is an easy S tier for me as well. They really nailed the weirdness of the sun bear, I think. Sun bears are really bizarre animals. They're just shaped so oddly. You know, they're very lanky, almost like a human in a bear suit, which is what a lot of people call them. And, you know, Frontier did a great job translating that. And, so the Usuri doll is going in B tier, mainly because, again, similar to the dingo, it doesn't stand out enough for me to want to use it regularly. I do have it in my zoo and I do like watching them. But like, for example, in terms of other canines, the timber wolf and the African painted dog stand out a little bit more. Even though these two might be a bit more unique, especially the doll. It's quite a unique species, but it doesn't stand out as much. Why do we have another llama? Oh, do we have the different versions of the animals? Okay, so if we do, the llama with the skins is going in A, the llama without is going in B, and this is the fixed binturong. The fixed binturong is going in S tier, the unfixed binturong is going in D tier because it was horrendous and all of us were crying. There we go, that's actually cool. I didn't realize we had the different versions. I like that a lot. The African penguin is going into S tier, just like the king penguin, an addition we've been wanting for ages. Everyone really wanted a smaller penguin species. African penguin, they knocked it out of the park. A really cool warm weather penguin as well, which you can find on the South African coast. Really unique with those pink spots on the eyes and the really nice like black and white spattering around the body. I always used to think the penguins at London Zoo were African penguins, but I believe they're actually Humboldt penguins or something like that. Fennec Fox is an A tier animal. Very cute. I love that it but uses the log tunnels. Same goes to meerkat. A tier? Yeah, meerkats are A tier. The Dung Beetle is actually going to go in A tier because I love the dung rolling animation and the fact that its habitat just has a pile of dung in the middle of it. Like, fantastic. What else do you learn? The southern white rhino is going to not C tier, it's going to go in A tier. Really fantastically designed, beautiful animal. And the Zoopedia and stuff does do a good job of talking about the plight of rhinos in the wild, because rhinos are some of the most threatened mammal in the world. So this is one of the most threatened animals. American alligator is also going to go in A tier. Really gorgeous design on this guy. Really does a lot better than what they did with the saltwater crocodile. You know, I would put it in S tier, but they're a bit... No, I'm putting them in S tier. I couldn't think of a reason why not to. They're great. I love them. They're such an interesting species. Oh, bullfrog. Like I said, I do love a chunky frog. It's going A tier. No other reason than I just really wanted a chunky frog. Arctic fox is B tier for me. I didn't find it too interesting. It kind of fits along with these other canines where they just didn't really stand out to me as much. Prairie dog is an A tier for sure. Really cool, very unique animal, which I'm going to be putting in next week's episode of October Lake, so look forward to that. The Californian Sea Lion is going in A. I like it not as much as the grey seal. I do like that it's a unique one. We do have a sea lion and a seal now, and both are very distinct from each other, which is quite nice. The cougar is another really fantastic big cat. One which not quite S here. I'm gonna put it here. In A tier. It's really great. I really like the design, but again, it doesn't stand out as much as a big cat. The moose is going into S tier. In fact, I think it might be the only hoofed animal besides the giraffe to make it up here. It's just great. The moose is fantastic. We've wanted a moose since the start of the game, and they really delivered. The antlers are well defined. They're big, they're powerful, and just really iconic of North America. So yeah, definitely belong up there. Beavers are also going in S tier because they're fantastic. Like, this is like most of the animals in North America pack, they're up here. Well, 3 out of 8 at least. And the beavers are great. I love the fact that they have their own enrichment item. I wish they could just gnaw on trees, other trees in the game, but I can see why that would be a bit too complex. But yeah, glad to put them up here. Oh no, the Arctic pack animals. Oh, this is going to be hard. I'm going to put the Arctic wolf in C, because really you know what, Himalayan brown bear is going to C tier. I just don't have a use for it, so it's going to C tier. The doll sheep is going to A tier. Very unique animal. Love the fact that it's really good at climbing in the game as well, so you can build really cool cliffs for it. Polar bear is going to, oh, this is tricky, B tier. It's really well detailed, it looks great, but I just don't really, I don't know, polar bears are one of those animals which really probably shouldn't be in captivity, and as much as it of course is a game, it's the way they try to balance it. Of course you had those really strict requirements on them to, you know, at the start when they put them in, they needed like 12,000 square meters of space, which is great, and that's a great way to do it, but it just gets so tricky with the balancing act of making it so that they, you know, get across the fact that they struggle in captivity, but also make sure you have an enjoyable experience with the game. It's a tricky balancing act. I can see why it didn't work out super well, but yeah, I'm happy putting them in B. And the reindeer is also going to be, actually the reindeer is going to be, yeah, it's in B. It's a cool animal, doesn't stand out as much as the others. And with that, that's it. Let's have a look at the final list and just look at this in all of its glory. I think that looks pretty good. Of course, most animals end up in A. And hold on, I'm just going to get a drink of water. And yeah, I'm not surprised by any means, because most of the animals in the game are fantastic. In S tier, we have a total of 4, 8, 12, 16, 18 animals. Wow. Yeah, 18 animals in S tier, which is pretty good. Out of all the S tier animals, my favorite is potentially still the gharial. I'm not sure. It could also be some of the Southeast Asian animals, which a lot of them made it up here. 4 out of 8 of them made it up here, which is really cool. Half of the aquatic pack made it up here, 1 of the Australian pack, 3 of the North American, 1 of the African pack. Yeah, lots of really cool animals made it up here. And of course, I'm just really glad to have them all here. And yeah, that's it. Of course, D tier. D tier looks so weird. It's just 5 invertebrates and then a really bad binturong and a really bad lion. But then we have the fixed binturong in S tier because it's fantastic. So yeah, there we go. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's really unlike my regular videos, but I hope you had fun nonetheless. It was really fun for me to do this. Like I said before, I think this game is fantastic. This is my favorite game of all time. So take this list as some constructive criticism on what should be improved. Like maybe the lion model, for example, could be improved. Have more exhibit animals with really distinct and unique habitats that come with them. For example, the terrapin with the water in the habitat. You know, and then really like emphasize what makes an animal unique. For example, putting in all those details into proboscis monkey's like appearance and nose. Really nailing like animations for certain things like the moose rubbing against the logs and stuff. Things like that. And with the reptiles, of course, really detailing those scales and things like that and really making them stand out. That's what really, I feel like, elevates some of these animals above the others. But all of them are fantastic and I'm really glad for all of them. You know what? I'm really tempted to just move the Clouded Leopard up. You know what? I want a big cat up there. There you go. Clouded Leopard. 19 animals in S tier. Oh, now I feel like it needs to be 20. Nope, we're good. Not moving anything else. But I think that works. I think that's our list. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Happy 2nd anniversary to Planet Zoo. We will be continuing October late next week and loads of Jurassic World Evolution 2. Thanks Frontier as well for dropping that soon. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed playing Planet Zoo these past 2 years. And you know, for those of you who've watched me make these videos for the past couple of years, or if you're new, any of that, thanks so much for all your support. Thanks for watching the videos. Do leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Do subscribe for more Planet Zoo content. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!